Something's in my head. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another random haul review. I am your host, Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yeah, episode 63 is here, and I've got another one here from Brain Damage Films, and this is actually brand new. Production from 2016, and just got released, I believe, maybe last week. I think this one came out, and it is called On the Brain. Now, it's very appropriate that, a company like Brain Damage Films would release a film called On the Brain, right? But getting into the premise of this one, basically this one is about a sheriff who's brand new. He's a big city cop who took a job in a small town to become the sheriff. Soon after arriving in this small town, things start going crazy. Now, men start attacking women randomly. They start just raging basically and killing these women and trying to rape them and things like that. And of course, all the fingers are kind of pointing at the sheriff because, these things weren't happening before he got to the town. So things are just going completely out of control. And now it's basically up to him and his girlfriend, who is the medical examiner in the town, to figure out exactly why these men are raging and going crazy and killing people. And so that's the premise of your film right there. Now, my thoughts on this one. Now, we'll start with some things that I really did like about the film. Now, I really enjoyed the setup to this film. I like these type of setups where it just kind of gets into the story and it doesn't really give you a whole lot. It doesn't explain anything. So, basically there's kind of a mystery there. Like, why are these people raging? Why are they doing what they're doing? I always like these type of setups to the film. That's just always such a plus because it keeps you intrigued into the film. It's awesome. Another really cool aspect of the film is the music. The soundtrack is very well done. It fits in this film. It's kind of like this very serious music, but to go along with a very serious tone film, which is always a plus too. That's another really big thing I do like about the film is that it does take itself pretty serious. There's no over-the-top, comedic elements to this film at all. In fact, there's really no comedic elements at all, and that leading into the characters. Now, I feel like the characters all fit their roles for this film also. With that said, there's none of these kind of, comedic characters that are just kind of taken away from the main story and stuff. The film is played very straightforward, and I really do like that. I think everything kind of fits together, the characters and just the serious tone of the film. Another really cool aspect of the film, they probably use about 95% practical effects in this film. There's a little bit of CG when it comes to these little things that are crawling around in people's skin, but for the most part, the practical effects are they're very prevalent. I do like the look of the infected people also. I think the infected people, they look good. They're not overly done and stuff, and I think the effects are they're simplistic, but they're there, and I think they actually really do work for the film. And also another really big thing I liked about this film was the ending. Now, the ending in this film was fantastic, and I wasn't really... I'll get there in a minute, but there was parts in this film that kind of slowed down and things like that, and then I thought the very end of the film was fantastic. Now, getting into the things I didn't really care for about the film. Now, like I said, I felt like all the characters in the film presented themselves well. They all kind of fit their parts and they played it very well. But the problem was with the characters is that some of the acting wasn't really overly the greatest. I feel like the mayor in this film, she's like an over-the-top, just raging bitch. And something's up with her right from the start of the film, but she plays it up good. She absolutely hates the sheriff. She doesn't like his girlfriend, but she is probably the best actor in the film. The sheriff does a pretty good job. His girlfriend's fine for the most part, but I feel that she did probably, I think she messed up a few of her lines, to be honest, but which is kind of shitty. But my biggest complaint with this film was actually the style that the director Kevin Stevenson used. When it comes to the action sequences or the sequences where the people are getting attacked, it would start to slow down and it would almost create like that earthquake mode when you're watching. The screen would start to shake and things would slow down. So those effects and that style was used throughout the film, and I really don't care for that whatsoever. I'm not a big fan of slow-mo and over the top kind of stylistic things like that. I felt like the style was just kind of overblown a little bit. Like I said, with the effects, there's minor CG in the film, which it's not really a minus. I mean, it's so minimal in the film, it's not really that big of a deal. But another really huge complaint to this film was this disastrous side plot that involved a girl from the sheriff's past. She comes into his life, and it kind of creates like this love triangle. And I just feel like that side plot just completely takes away from the main focus of the investigation and the development of the film. It feels like major filler, like a lot of filler, and it just doesn't really add a whole lot to it. And it's just kind of disappointing. It just kind of takes you out of the film a little bit. And even with that, like in the middle of the film, it kind of slows itself down. It is very kind of snail paced and things like that. Things are happening. They kind of get repetitive a little bit. I feel that really did kind of hurt it. I don't mind a slow kind of build up, but when you throw in like a side plot that just doesn't really need to be there, I feel like it just takes away from the film completely. Yeah, that's just really tough, man. And one of my biggest complaints also was the reveal of why the people were infected and what was exactly happening in the film, and the exact motives and things like that. I didn't really think it was overly that exciting, and in fact to be a little bit predictable, to be honest. So that was kind of a shame, but once you find out, then the very end happens, and it kind of revives itself a little bit. It kind of gives it a little bit of breath back into the film. But overall, it actually wasn't that bad of a watch. Right from the start, I was really liking what I was seeing, and it kind of slowed down. And with the just certain elements of the film, I was just like, oh, okay. But as a whole, kind of thought about it, it's really not that bad of a film. It's nothing spectacular. It's nothing like overly that original. In fact, I think the storyline has been completely done. It's been done before completely. So, but with that said, man, it was kind of interesting. It was kind of interesting the things how they developed and how they figured out exactly what was causing all this. I thought that was kind of cool at times. But yeah, not a bad watch overall. If I had to rate this one, I am going to give it about a 5.5 out of 10. I think it's better than average. I don't think it's spectacular, but it's definitely worth the watch. I mean, what can I say, man? It's definitely worth the watch. So, On the Brain, not bad. I actually looked this film up. I was looking for cover arts for it, and I think I came across the original cover art, which I really did like. So yeah, I don't know. This cover art kind of confused me at first. When I first saw this cover art, I thought it was a clown film just by his red nose, and I don't know, it just looks like a clown, but it's obviously not a clown film. This DVD, basically for special features, has a makeup test shoot and photo gallery. That's it. Doesn't even have trailers or anything, but yeah. So if you're interested, give On the Brain Something's in My Head. It's pretty, whatever tagline, but it is what it is, man. On the Brain, I mostly enjoyed it. I think there was more things about the film that I actually did care about than I didn't like, but there was just some, like I said, major things about the film that I didn't really care for too much. So yeah, that is going to do it for episode 63 on my random horror review series. I will be back very, very soon with a few more reviews. So stay tuned, and as usual, peace!